Testing, testing. All right. It should all be working. Should I go over yesterday? Yeah. So what did I do? Make the path back collapse. So right now, if you touch a path stone, way back collapses. You are not forced to touch it, which might be a problem, but my working idea is that the path stones themselves get destroyed and drop a charm, a random one, and that will make the player want to press it, want to touch it. There might still be some visual inconsistencies with the collapsing way back, but I'll figure them out. And I might need a better sound effect. So right now I reused the collapsing wall sound effect for the secrets, just because it was there. But I should probably update that. Then optimize save game storage. Yeah, what was it? One of the, oh yeah, it was the food spoilage. I needed a new field in the item struct, which invalidated the save game, which sent me on a large tangent towards making the game data more aligned for the save games. So I split some structs, I pulled some globals into structs and grouped them, pragma packed them, added a static size check, and went through all the bigger data pieces and reduced them as far as I could. So there was a large kind of a bitmap for the whole world that just designated for each tile which patch it belonged to. That itself was a struct, so it was a 3-dimensional array for all layers in the whole world, and each of it had a struct. I reduced that struct in size considerably, but I couldn't save the size of the save file, so it grew considerably because I put all the world metadata into the save file as well. So the save file contains the whole world, and it contains the world metadata. So they are more resilient against new versions of the game. So that's a good thing. But they are now, I think they are 60 megabytes. So save file is pretty large. I'm not compressing it. If I would be to compress it, would be just 2 megabytes. But I skipped that step for now. And that was all that. So the size increase is because I put the metadata in it. So that the root of the problem is if the so the whole world is indexed for its paths when the game starts. Save files contain the old version of the world, but work with the new metadata. So if I, in the meantime, changed something in the world, changed a couple of patches, which would redirect the path, then that is different metadata from what the save file expects. There's a mismatch, and the save file might break. So the save file has its metadata in it as well. That, of course, means if I update the underlying data structures, that's invalidated as well. But what I did is I added padding to all save game relevant structs. So they blew up in size a bit, but that gives me room for the future to just add new variables at the bottom of these structs without having to convert old save games. So that's a very good thing. Yeah, save games are weird. They are kind of like multiplayer and that they infect everything. So I cleaned up the world structures. I put the metadata in the save file. I decoupled object and entities. So I needed, in order to convert a save file, it should be as flat as possible, like in a database. But it was pretty nested right now. So the entities carried around their original object data with which they were created. That was just convenience for me. But now they have their individual members, and I just copy the data over when the entity is created. So I added food spoilage. That was the impetus of all this. Food spoilage means food does not stack. Food spoils after, what is it? Not quite sure how fast the hunger clock runs right now, but it's twice that. So after that, food spoils. It becomes it turns into rot. If you eat the rot, you'll still recover hunger, but you'll take damage. And then on stream, I collected all the features, and this food spoilage and the path collapsing was one of these features. Yeah. Then I created a short, one of the best ones I thought I did so far, but it's kind of random with YouTube, so it didn't get as much traction as the other ones that I just kind of did. I mean, I also kind of did this, but it's much better than the others. There's some kind of mismatch in my perception of what YouTube does or what people like. Not sure. I think it's mostly random with what people you reach initially. Maybe, not quite sure. Anyways, check it out, it's pretty cool. It's 12 seconds long, so it wouldn't take long. So today I want to... split between working on the items and working on the special attacks, but I'm not quite sure how or what I'll implement. How is easy, but what and why is always hard. So I was thinking, currently the idea is that all the weapons have a ultimate version of them that has special properties, special moves, basically. So an axe can attack everything around the player. The highest level axe. Highest level spear can attack 2 tiles in front, and the highest level sword can cause crit damage. But I'm thinking about adding that functionality to the base weapons as well, so that every axe and every sword and every spear has these special attacks. You would press, just like throwing, you'd press square, which is X, I think, on Xbox, and the direction, and it would do the attack. Of course, that would have to have a cooldown. Oh, there's the collapsing of the path, so I should not be able to go back. Hello? Did it collapse? Okay, that's a great presentation of the feature I added, because it didn't do anything. Let me investigate that actually. So if you have a special attack, it would need a cooldown because it's too overpowered otherwise. So I was thinking maybe if you do the special attack, it will degrade the weapon and eventually destroy it. So that might be an option. But yeah, as I thought of that, I realized I have to push it back a day. So today I'm going to put the theming in the game. So I'll create a couple of objects that are just inert or containers. And why is it back? Okay, this needs more work. So I activate it and nothing happened. Look at the boundaries. So this should have collapsed. I don't get it. Weird. So the question is, what kind of items do I place across the world? So it would be, I'll create the items, maybe 10 at most, and then go through the world in the editor and place them in the interiors and exteriors, just for theming. And I have about 6 hours for that, because after that I need to, what was the other thing? Yeah, locks and keys. The other thing is locks and keys. That is locking some doors and chests and placing keys in the vicinity statically. So that's not randomized. right now. I could do it. I could do that later, but that's that will probably take more time and be unreliable. So why didn't the path collapse? And why do the stones respawn? Well, I can kind of imagine why they respawn, but let's write that down. Path stones respawn after they were destroyed. And path back doesn't collapse reliably. I could swear that it worked yesterday, but that's how it goes. Okay, let's turn on God mode and walk to the next one. Might be down here. Nope. Okay. Then it's over here probably. Yes, yeah, so I should probably fix it before I open another construction site. So that's a bummer. But I finished this at 4 in the morning, so that's bound to happen. Okay, I think I've never been here. Where is the stone? There's a stone. Let's press it. Oh, and this time it collapsed. See? It collapsed really uglily. But it worked. Is that thing broken? No. So my algorithm is broken. Or the placement of the boundaries is wrong. Are boundary positions really on the area? Can I visualize that? Let's see. So this is grayed out. This is the coloring scheme for the editor. So it's red if the tile has a bound flag. What I want is, so each bound has a position, and I'm wondering if that is set correctly. Because what I do is, when you touch the stone, I plop down at that position, I flood it in the red area, and then lower the height of these tiles. Tell the tessellation block to retessellate. That's how it works. So how do I paint this? In a reasonable manner. So this is not every frame. This is just when it retessellates. So I can be as heavy as I want here. It's also just the editor. So if I go in the functions, I have a bound at function. So I can get the bound. That might collide. I don't think so. So this INF is just tile info that I gather. So if bound at, that's exactly that. If it's not null, and if the position of the bound is equal to the position I'm currently at, the tile I'm at, then set it to, actually let's set to red first, and if this is true, then set it to lime or something. I don't need that. So I should now see this here. Okay, that worked. But of course, this one is just under a bush, I think. Yeah. So these look correct. If I look at the upper right, in red, I see the bound. And it sometimes has a path, but sometimes it doesn't. I don't think that matters. So it's just probably just my flood filling algorithm that's faulty. Because all of these origins of the bound lie on the bound itself. They all have this red text. I'm not sure where the problem was. Where it didn't collapse. Well, it collapsed badly at the other one. So yeah, this is not the problem. If only I had a way to jump ahead in the path. That would make things easier. But yeah, these are correct. Let's leave this in here. But comment it out. Let's look at the code again. Might be just a typo. I've been chasing a bug yesterday and it was just a wrongly set parenthesis and it was annoying. And I think it was here. No, it wasn't. So carve path, carve bound. I get the position. Maybe I'll look at the origin of all of this. So here, if I talk to assign, which is a path stone, it will call collapse path at the position of the stone. It'll shake and then play a sound. So collapse the path. That's a bit more involved. So I get the patch at the position P. I get the previous path index. So if I'm at path index, that's just the patches along the path. If I'm at patch index 30, this will get me 29. The thing, so the previous patch and the bound between them, I need to collapse. So I get this commented out. Find the boundaries of the patch. There are at least 2. Then I iterate over them, and then I look at each bound. So patch has many exits, but I need only the one leading back along the path. So yeah, here was the wrong parenthesis. So NB is neighboring bounds or patch bounds, badly named, but that's an array. So I iterate through that. I get the path index of each of the bound exits. So I look at all the exits of the tile patch. And if I have one, then I look on either side at the patches, because that's just how they are saved. I look at either side of the boundary at the path indices and see if hey is one of these one step back in the path. So yeah, this is position patch 0 of the boundary and patch 1. So side A and side B basically should be called A and B. So if the bound, neither of its exits have the path index that leads back, then I continue. Otherwise I save this bound. And then I call carve bound on its position. So that is the lime thing I just did in the editor. And that then jumps into path, carve bound. So I have the position of the boundary. And this is a flood fill. So I check if there's a tile, just to be sure. And I need the tile to check its flags. I check if it's an edge. That might actually be a problem. Let's continue. So I shouldn't return here, I think. So yeah, that's a complication. All the lines at the ledges that you see in the world are computed using a flag on the tile that says this is an edge. So it has an elevation difference that the player can't cross. And I need to clear it because it prevents the player from walking there. But there will be new edges created. When are the edges updated? Edge, edge, edge. Marks edge tiles in block. Okay, I can just call this. At the end, so I don't have to worry about this. And I could, let's see. Okay, it does that automatically. And why did I need that? So it recalculates the edges automatically. So how this works is, let's remove this. So I'm on the boundary. If it's really marked as a boundary, if it's not marked as a boundary, I return. So that's the bounds of the flood fill that I need. And then I clear the boundary flag. That's another bound of the flooding. If I wouldn't clear it, then I would flood the whole map. Actually, that's wrong. I would flood the same tiles continuously. So I clear the flag, I lower the terrain, and I set the tile as the whole block as dirty. So it will be, this will be called on the block. Block is just a rectangular piece of tiles that gets sent to the graphics card. And I update its edges, block edges. So that should be fine. Then I tessellate it again, and it gets sent to the graphics card for rendering. And then I just recursively call this function. So it calls itself with in all cardinal directions. So is there a problem here? Yeah, flood filling can be tricky. So I'm sure that the edges weren't correct, otherwise I wouldn't have set that flag, removed that flag explicitly, but I saw in the function that updates the edges that it removes all the edge flags before it sets them again if applicable. So not sure what happens. Not sure. Okay, dead end. Okay, there's one. Okay, pressed it, but oh, this collapsed actually. So as you can see here, there's a problem. These two lines are not drawn, but they should be. But these lines have been drawn. So where the steps are, that should have been removed, but aren't for some reason. This was the old height. So this was the same height as this line. Is there a block boundary here? There can't be. What about if I think it might be a block boundary that's preventing this. So what if I set the block dirty one tile out everywhere? That should probably help. That might be the problem. But that doesn't explain why it didn't collapse earlier. So that's weird. So yeah, but for items to place in the world, themed items, I'm thinking, so I'm just going to place a handful. So they have to be super impactful and versatile. So I was maybe thinking and they have to be legible. So it's pretty hard. So they have to be clearly legible. Okay, this is perfect. In 3x5 pixels. So what can work is a desk, maybe a tiki torch stuck into the ground that gives light, which would be nice as well. Having more light sources in the world, and I would want working tools, abandoned tools like a grindstone maybe. Workbench, but that's the same as a desk. Okay, this collapsed, and this looks good. Okay, I think I solved that problem. Let's continue a bit. Try 2 or 3 more. So a shelf, maybe. I don't want items. I just want big things that have a sword and sorcery vibe. And maybe that are tied to a region or an area. So maybe something for spider nests and for kobolds that they would have lying around, and stuff for the temples. It doesn't have to be interactive, but it should be destructible at least. So there needn't be a dialogue option or something. or something to read, murals or something like that. Okay, I'm stuck. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. So yeah, that's crazy that these collapsing regions actually just lie on, have been lying on the block boundaries to create this rendering error. I mean, it's fine. As I've found it sooner. Alright, I think that works. I can remove this. Fix collapsing path distillation. Okay. So my leg fell asleep. Items. What do I want? Maybe I should make a list. Okay, a table that's given a torch, a maybe a bale. That's work. So this I want. Let's just keep brainstorming. Millstone, or is it grindstone? Not sure. Millstone. Then maybe pile of logs. What are these little pyramids of grain called? Are they bushels? Well, that's actually the same as this. Might use the one that's easier to draw. I call this log pile. I like piers. And then maybe just a spear in ground. And skulls, maybe. Pile of skulls. That will be hard to depict. That's pushing it. Anything that's more than one is, yeah, problematic. That won't work probably. But I can give it a name and it'll show up in the description. Then what do I have? Spiders, cocoons. I have zombies, so maybe limbs. Well, should be destructible. Well, millstone's not really destructible. Chair. Pier is also not destructible. It would also take up too much time. What else do I have? So spears is for kobolds. Part of bones is for animals. Log piles is for zombies. Or, well, this is just settlement. Let's call it hut. That's easier. Hut. That's just path. Or maybe, do I have undead, I have kobolds, and then animals. Spiders, centipedes, bears, wolves. So that's... yeah, I think that's enough for the huts. 4 things for the huts. Torches, maybe kobolds, trolls. So 2 for those. I don't like chair really because it can sit on it. Do I want chair? What do I have? A fireplace, but I have that already. Let's just call it off. A table, a fireplace, and maybe... well, there should be something to sit. Bench, maybe, but that's not destructible. They would be sitting on crates or something. Maybe. That would be a 2-use item. Let's keep it there. Piles of bones, that's good. Cocoons, spiders, centipedes. So those 2 bears and mammoth, I could just put in tusks. For both of these. And then this is wolves and jackals. Then I have... what do I give these? Undead and skeletons. Yeah, this should be skeletons. What do I give wolves and jackals? Maybe the same. just two different contexts. So kobolds have spears and torches. Torches are pretty hard to depict because they have a glowing end. But yeah, let's add fireball, temple, piles of bones. It's also good for temples. So this is pretty good. Piles of bones, cocoons, tusks. Those can go into temples. Kobolds can have fireplaces. Tables can be in temples. Log piles. Yeah. Let's leave it at log piles for the huts. Oh, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, let's make this a fireball. Log pile. I could make this just debris. Debris pile. And then I can put this basically everywhere. Was debris, does that imply construction material or does that imply refuse? Look that up. Let me actually do it the proper way. Or I get lost in AI rabbit holes again. And I'll go to the bathroom real quick. And also add a palisade. That would be very good. And for the fireplace, oh, come on. doing? Remove red from sprite. Add red, low, high density red particles. Yeah, that makes basically everything be able to burn. Okay. Okay, the relatively few words with D. Debris. Remains of something broken down or destroyed. An accumulation of fragments of rock. So it is actually rocks. But then it also says something discarded, rubbish. So it could be both. Kind of. But it's something broken or discarded. So it's actually perfect. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9. I have 9. Do I... Yeah, that's okay. So Palisade I can use basically everywhere. Hard, kobolds, temples. They could just be. I'm imagining a bundle of reeds that you can just hack down, but they are blocking the way. Let's mark this that way. So I have a table that could also work with kobolds, palisades, torches, fireplaces. Spears and palisades are kind of the same, but not really. Let's look at the world. What could this use? So I'm also not quite that fond of the spiderweb color. Problem is, like, it can't be gray, because that will collide with the stone. Unless I make the stone be grayish. This stone. I have grayish. Okay, that's too light, but it's similar. That looks much better. Yeah. Maybe I should change that. But that means I would have to change the artwork. Well, it's not artwork, screenshots. And such. I mean, the time to change that would be now. So this is too light of a shade. Should be this, which is that the same? It looks the same to me. Should be this. But it is the same. Okay. So that's the color actually then. The question is that too light? Or is it okay? I mean, the good thing about gray is that it balances the colors. So it gives you a reference. And yeah, that's too light. You could go the old route and go with more of a brown, but that collides with the earth color. Yeah, but I like that more, actually. If it sinks down in the mud, I mean, maybe it's not that bad. Why is it placing so much stuff? So that's still legible. And then I could turn the spider webs into gray. I don't know. I mean, they would still be gray. think that's better. Feels more like an adventure. Why are they so strong? Day, please. Nice. Yeah, I might have to change that. Okay. So I think those are enough. Or am I missing something very obvious? I mean, beds would be something. Or something akin to a bed. Okay. So table, debris, bed, bowl, reeds, torches, poles, pile, or bone, cocoon, tusk. Let's call this pile. Call this bone. Yeah. Let's make them I need struct and the externals. And then I'll need to create these sprites. So those are all props. Table. Debris. Bed. Bowl. Reed. Torch. Okay. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Large pack of reeds. Sounds funny. Pile of bones. Spider, centipede, cocoon. And this is a large bone or tusk. Okay. That goes down there somewhere. Okay. Let's take the ladder as a blueprint. Good. Table, debris, bed, bowl, reeds, torch, bowl, pile, coon. Flat surface, working surface. I mean, these are never seen. Right now, at least. So I don't need to fill them out. They all have health. Come on. Don't you stop me. Also, all have a health of 1. Which I hope is health. Yes. Flags. I'll see about them later. So that should Still no BSD make. Prior initialization. Did I do? Oh, yeah, I'm stupid. $13 is unused. Okay, I'll have to push this. Push this down. Table. Let's take these 4. And 13 is not unused. Stupid. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. Let's look at sprites. Table. I would like to reuse them if possible, but that maybe that takes up too much time. I have to clean them up as well. They're pretty gnarly right now, but this looks like a bed. Or is that a mammoth? That's not a mammoth, is it? Might be. So this is 242. That's unused. Oops. Let's use it for a bed frame, or maybe like this. That's better. Two, 4, 2. Let's make it sand colored, and all these have entity height. That's half a unit of height. Just like the hero. So that's the bed. Let's look for a table maybe. I'm sure there's one. This one looks like a table. 161, not used, so I can change it. Maybe like this. Let's try this. It has a bit of, brings in perspective, but yeah, I think that's fine. So debris, oops. So there's a pile. Maybe like that. See if 200 is used. Nope. So debris is 200. Let's keep it gray. The pile can also be 200, but beige. Next is the bowl. Should I have a bowl somewhere? This one looks kind of like a bowl. Also looks like the ring. This looks more like a bowl. So I trust that this is not used. 241, no. 242 is used here. So maybe this is a bowl. Maybe place it on the ground. Or like this. Yeah, that's more obvious. So bowl is 242 and that's gray, probably. So reeds is, oops, should just poke around in here. Maybe like this. Yeah, I think that's the most clear. 244 and this is grass colored. So torch. This could be a torch. 216. Reduce 216. Sand color. Yeah, sand color. Then a pole. I can use either this shape or this shape or something in between. Let's see. 286. Not used. Let's just use this. Maybe like that. Or actually like this. Well, why not? 286. And this is sand colored. Then I have the pile. Have that. And then the cocoon. Cocoon. Let's give it. I mean, it could look like this. Look 320. And green. What color are the spiders? Those are blue. Not sure. Should look kind of organic. But that's of course hard to do. Well, that's actually maybe not bad. Okay, let's jump into the test room. Place them all down. They should be in order. Oh, I haven't reloaded, but that doesn't matter. Just put them down. They should look correctly when I rebuild. So let's do that. There they are. Bowl has, well, a couple of them are wrong. Torch is wrong. What did I do? Torch had to be 216. Okay, 215, that's wrong, of course. And then bowl. What was bowl? Lost the bowl. Maybe it's off by 1. Nope. 242. Oh, it is. 241. Okay, that looks better. Don't like the pile. What was that? It's so hard to find stuff in there. $200. I can look at the bottom left of the index and just crawl my way up there. Yeah, also doesn't look that great. That's better maybe. That's not good. So the question is, do I use a top-down view or a frontal view? Or kind of an in-between. So it should, of course, be consistent. Maybe if I move this up. Not really. That's a potion. Maybe piles of stuff is not that good of an idea. That looks like the copy sign. Looks like a person. That's pretty hard. Well, I might just go with this for now. I don't like the bed frame that much. That's a person. Well, I guess that's all I get right now. So this is the fireball. Maybe I'll turn it into a V. It's better. The torch could be more like this. And the reeds. Okay, that's a broken spider web. That may be better. The table needs to be brown. Where is the table? Sand. 161. There it is. Yeah, I think that's better. Let's try looking at the bed from the side, but we have a chair now. And I can't. Maybe that's a bed. Okay, that's a shelf. I like the shelf. But yeah, the bed works as well, kind of. Like this. I mean, it'll show you what it is. More concerned with the piles. Because they will look pretty bad. But yeah, I'll change them later. So that works. Kind of. Don't save and quit. Okay. Let's jump into the world and look at the interiors. What can I change here? Okay, these are kobolds, so I can place a table right there, maybe right here, and a bed, because kobolds need to sleep as well. Maybe there, and then a couple of poles, because that's what kobolds do. Okay, that's much more fun. With all this stuff. I'm not sure if kobolds should have the beds. Probably not. If they would sleep on the floor. Tables, that's fine. Let's try the reeds. And they should wave, maybe. I'm not sure. And why do I have debris and I have a pile? That should be called bones. And where's my tusk? Forgot about that one. Yeah, that's beige. And let's see, I don't think this is used. 3 or 4. Nope. So I can just repurpose this as a tusk. Three or 4. Okay. Let's continue. There are skeletons here. So I need bones. And some tables. This is a temple, so let's place some bowls. But this is, yeah, that looks bad. Bowls are not good. That's not the bowl. That's the bowl. Yeah, that's more like it. It's too small. Maybe like this, actually. That's better. Color is not ideal. But I'll try to fix that later. And they should have the same particles. Great. As the glow, glow, glow flames as a fire. Ball. Fire reeds should maybe, yeah, wave. Something else? No. Hey Diego. What's on the agenda today? Today is adding a few more clutter items to the game. So I've just created a bunch of new items. Well, it's more props. So, where am I? So like this table or reeds or a pole, just to decorate the interiors. And why is this bowl being removed? That's weird. Okay. So just more items that are lying around that you can destroy. And yeah, I don't like the pile. So this nope, wrong one. Where was the pile? Oh god. Pile is 200. 200 is here. Still bad. Let's try lying it flat on the ground. Still bad. Well, I don't like it. That might work, but it's confusing with these stones, maybe. Well, it's the best one yet, at least. It's actually pretty hard. Sorry for bumping the mic. That might actually be the most clear. But maybe this one. This. Or this. That's maybe the most clear. For a pile of something. Probably. Okay. Why does my bowl disappear? Better, but it's a pile of what? It's a pile of bones. So it says in the description that it's bones. That's the best I can do. Wait, can I depict bones? I think actually. Let me see if I have enough space. No, I don't. So I could depict. If I had this much space, then I could. Well, I would need more. So this is a bone. I don't have enough space. So yeah. So why is the ball disappearing? It's not used anywhere. Case fire. I'm using the wrong. This should be flames. I'm using the another object name for the flags. That obviously won't work. Okay, should have the bowl, so that's good. That makes smoke. Should have a different color. Let's see. It could be this color. That's actually good. It looks like bronze or something. I think that's grass color. Grass. It's pretty good. I feel you. I definitely don't have an eye for art and design. I mean, the constraints that I have are pretty severe in terms of what I can do. I have 3 by 5 pixels, so you don't need an eye for it. I also don't have an eye for it really, but I just bash on it as long as I can, and as long as, until it looks like something at least. So I have these descriptions in the lower right corner, and they do the heavy lifting. Because it's just so minimal. And so it says bones right here. Could maybe turn one of these around. Where was it? Here. The other way. Like this. That looks like bones. That's better. That's actually a bone, yeah. I've just instinctively did it wrong. So this is a real bone now. Might be a bit much if I... So just like that, I just iterate on it, try and succeed. But that's actually a bone now, so that's awesome. coming together nicely. Yeah, bit by bit, bit by bit. But I'm making progress. So I've dealt with so much technical stuff that didn't bring any visible change to the game, that I'm happy to now, for 1 or 2 days, really change things, change things up in the game. So that's awesome. So yeah, today I'll be doing the decorations. And then I will probably work on the charms. Or I'm not sure. I've talked about it in the intro of the stream, but I might actually add the special moves for the weapons in at all levels. But then I would need a currency to spend for these attacks. So I could say, okay, you can attack everything around you with an axe by holding the square button, just like throwing. But then the easiest thing would be for the weapon to degrade. So it has a durability that doesn't go down, or goes down only very slightly if you use it normally. But if you do these special attacks, it degrades faster. And if it degrades completely, the weapon breaks. So that could be a nice trade-off. And it would switch up the gameplay hugely. So, but I'm not sure if I want to bring that in right at the beginning of the game. Maybe I still lock it to the higher levels. So the original idea was that I find these charms, and these charms unlock the moves, but that might be too convoluted. Some sort of cooldown or mana magic points. Yeah, movement points, yeah. Something like that, or the weapon durability. So I could add a stamina or other system to spend these points. But I think that's too much before release. So maybe I'll just break the weapons. And instead of complicating the mana, I complicate the weapons. I make more of them, or make swing attacks only work sometimes against some enemies, for example. That might be the route I'll go. But I've had the special spear attacks and axe attacks before, and they are super fun. Especially spears are super fun. If I could stand here and attack that skeleton from this distance. Of course, it's pretty overpowered, so it needs a cooldown or a trade-off of some kind. So yeah, but I like these bone piles. They are awesome now. It will be interesting, add more variability in combat, even as a trade-off. Yeah, so it'll change combat a lot. But I think that's a good thing. But I also don't want to overdo it, because I would like a slow baseline, maybe without these actions, and then bring them in one at a time, so I don't burn out the game immediately. So the gameplay grows slowly. instead of throwing everything at the player at once, you know. Yeah, something like that. Okay, let's look at this house. It needs a table and a bed, maybe. Some breeds and some debris in the corner. Well, debris now needs a different different sprite. I see. Well, now the game is in a nice spot, only unbalanced. I would like more weapons to find. Yes. Yes. That's the state of the game. And I should decorate the outsides as well. Well, this might take all day, actually. So there's kobolds down there, so let's add some poles out here. Okay, there's skeletons in there, so let's add some bones. Keeping it simple. And for the house, then maybe let's add a table out here. And a bowl, something. I think a table might actually be enough. What were the torches for? They might actually be for the houses here. So torches need flames and they need to glow, as well as the bowls. That means they are a light source. Okay. I don't like the reeds very much. They should go into the goblin layers and spider layers. Okay, there's a hidden room. Maybe put a bowl in there. Okay, house. Table. Bed. Bones, maybe. Yeah, there are skeletons. And then outside, put some bones. And a torch. Okay. This one is spiders. And I haven't changed the spiderweb color down here. That's bad. That needs to be done. And then I can place some cocoons here. They are just inert right now. They do nothing but explode. Okay, this is super cramped. I like that. I think that's good. Maybe a bowl, because this is a temple. Okay, and on the outside, maybe a bowl and some cocoons. Here as well. Yeah, this will take time actually. I underestimated this. That's okay. It's not hard work, it's just much of it. And yeah, I need this debris. I need the debris. Or just rubble in general. Oops, sorry. Debris, debris, debris. Maybe actually, can I make a pile of wood in these graphics? Probably not. Let's try. Okay, I'm of course running on top of VI. No BSD. So debris is 200. But I need a new one. A new slot. What is 2, 3, or 4? 3 or 5. Okay, that's not used, so I can... Let's try and make a pile of wood. Does that work? Three. Oh, that's 3 or 5. That's sand colored. Pile of wood. That's called debris. Kind of, actually. Kind of works. So let's use that. Wood. Wood. Enough, probably. Debris becomes wood. Pile of wood. And let's call this tusk. And this bone. Okay. I think that works. It's all the same color, that's not ideal. Maybe I'll make the wood grass colored. As if moss would be on it. Wood, grass colored. Yeah. Wrong window. That's not bad. And then I can add that to this house. Maybe like this, actually. Well, this looks maybe a bit too neat. It really looks like somebody lives there, but maybe they left in a hurry, so that's okay. I think I have to go through this kind of slowly. So yeah, this takes at least a whole day. But I guess that's fine. I still have buffer. And I think this is one of the last pieces that should be done. I think this clutter is more important than the weapons, at least initially. If I deliver the weapons a week after launch, that's not as bad as if I would deliver this a week after launch. I think. Pretty sure. Yeah, but it is a lot of work. Sorry. So, what's the plan of action? I think I have enough items. Let's look at the task for the world. So in the editor, I will have to do make the temples not gray by default. Change the spiderweb color to something better. It might be just the blue color they are. That's over and underground. Then I need to clean up the messy what do I call this? Terrain colors. So that's just going through the whole map and cleaning up the edges of the colors. That might be deferrable. Then I need to place objects, more objects. That is interiors, dungeons, outsides of both of these. And then nests and dens. That's it. Agreed. If you drop a new weapon a week later, it looks like a planned update instead of something missing. Yeah. And I mean, if people play the game for a week, they won't have explored everything there is. So I think it's better if the beginning of the game is improved instead of the late game right now. That is with these items. By the way, I've spent the last 5 minutes fighting with my router. Oh god, I'm having flashbacks. And who's winning? Hope you're winning. Stable for now. That's good. Okay, I've heard that before. Oh god. Well, it was my fault in the end. So my router was actually innocent. So interiors, dungeons. The entrances of both of these, nests and dens. That's a lot. Because if I do that, I should actually do it right and take the time to do it. So let's look at the roadmap so I don't derail everything. So these can go. Add source and sorcery, props in the world. And then add locks and keys. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of buffer, which I probably need for other things. But I might be able to spare 1 day. Extra for the props. But the locks and keys might actually be pretty easy. Could do those fast. Well, I'll just see how it goes. And I can compress the other days. So actually, this is more save game stuff, which I've mostly completed. Kind of. But this is probably half a day as well, the 11th. So, of the items and the charms, I could so if I would have to release the game tomorrow, if I had no time at all, I could decouple the weapons and make them each have their own level, findable throughout the run within an hour probably. That's pretty easy. Trinkets as well. I can introduce the charms that that have, for example, just these 4 properties. Plus health regen, minus hunger, plus damage against undead, minus poison damage. With these 4, I can probably do this in a couple of hours. So that's plan B. The real thing would be this and adding weapon attacks and the charms that accompany that. But that's not really thought out. So maybe I shouldn't do that anyway. Maybe I should do the do part of it that brings in the charms into the game. And then expand on it later. That might actually be a better idea. So I can't take the whole day for the props today, but I have to finish. I have a buffer day for cleaning up the world down here. And so that's okay. So that can go. That's on the 14th. And then I do the interiors dungeons and nests and dens today with entities. And if I have time, dungeons, well, it's actually the same. It's not, they're on different layers. Entrances. And then nests and dens. And ruins. So that's practically, it's sweeping across the world. I did that with, what did I do there? Placing the spiders, and that took a whole day, I think. But this is less. Well, it might actually be the same effort. But I think that's okay. So one day for the props. Then on the 10th I can do all 3 of these. Because locks and keys are already in the game. I just have to create porches and doors and chests that are locked explicitly, which is easy, and then place them maybe 20 to 30. So not that many. And then this is what is this doing? Make weapons individual items. Create charms. And yeah, so that's Locks and keys. Freeing up items, the weapons, and adding charms. Yeah. That looks doable. And I'll have to think about what's most important here. I think interiors are the most important. So maybe I'll go in multiple passes and stop when the time runs out. Most important things first. It's actually nest and dens and then... And then this. That might be the best idea. Okay, then plan is still set. Okay. Alright, I'll be going offline and working on this. I also have family in a moment, so I'll have to go anyways. But yeah, I'll be working on this and I'll be back tomorrow with the results and then tackling the charms. Is there anything else? Don't think so. No, just another day at the office. Then see you next time, probably Monday. All right, Diego. Thanks for stopping by. I wish you good luck with your router. And then I'll see you Monday with new fancy features in the game. What's today? Saturday. Okay, that's just 2 days. All right. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. I'll be off for today, but I'll be back tomorrow. Not sure when, probably afternoon again. But yeah. Thanks, and I'll see you next time. Bye, Diego. Bye, guys.